Sean John Combs was born in Harlem and raised in Mount Vernon, New York. His mother Janice was a teacher assistant, while his father Melvin was a former member of the U.S. Air Force who became an associate of the drug trafficker Frank Lucas. Oh, wow. Who later inspired the Ridley Scott film American Gangster. Wait, what?
The questions you've all been asking are now being answered. Welcome to another edition of It's All About Who You Know, where influential people talk about sports, faith, and more. Your host is a former Oregon State wrestler, an MMA fighter, and a wrestling coach. Brought to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, here's your host, Christian Robertson.
Man, this is crazy. To me, it's like that movie Untouchables, where you've got Al Capone and his goons, and they just think that they're, above everything. They think they're above the law. This guy, I mean, I don't know if how did I just hit my steps goal while sitting down the last hour and a half? That's crazy. I don't know what the extent of this is. I don't know if he's the next Epstein. Allegedly, these things, there's underage boys and girls. I mean, there was the video like 15 years ago with Justin Bieber, and I mean, it would have seemed weird watching it then. I mean, he's saying like, you know, we got 15-year-old Justin Bieber here. He's living a 15-year-old's paradise or fantasy or whatever. Yeah, and it's like, we can't exactly disclose what that is. Like, I mean, I might be the first to say it. Like, that sounds pretty gay. I don't, I don't know. I mean, maybe it. Justin came out. I think Justin came out. Did Justin come out, babe? Justin Bieber? Can you look that up? If Justin Bieber came out? Um, I know Usher had said some stuff. 50 Cent, his ex, uh, you know, it just was disclosed that his ex-girlfriend, who is his baby mama, I mean, I don't know how many baby mamas he's had. He's probably got more baby mamas than kids at this point. But no, Justin didn't say anything. That's weird. So yeah, if Justin, I feel like it's well, when there's smoke, there's fire. But I feel like he should say something if anything did happen. But he's saying we can't really disclose. That just sounds so weird. And it's like, where are the parents? I don't get that. I don't understand where the parents are. It doesn't make any sense. So this is an article from BBC, um, British Broadcasting Company. For any of you guys that have a dirty mind, I know we're talking about sexual allegations, but let's keep it clean here. Sean Diddy Combs, what we know about the accusations against him. A string of sexual assault allegations have been made against Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most successful music moguls in the history of rap. So this has been going on for decades, and he's been dodging it. And I would imagine, I heard somebody say the other day, like, why the minors? Like, why I don't get the minors. And they made the correlation that well, you can get whatever else you want. This is like that untouchable thing that you can't have. And for whatever sick, twisted reason, I'm a Christian, and I believe there's demonic oppression in this world. So, I think that's something that the enemy uses is this, with the ultra wealthy, ultra famous, and the people that can have whatever they want that have completely abandoned any kind of Christian morality. That's like, one, it's the epitome of like evil. And I think it's like the epitome of their sexual desires, whether that comes from years and years of porn or years and years of abusing people and just realizing that it doesn't satisfy. But let me read on. So 4 women, including his longtime partner Cassandra Cassie Ventura, have filed lawsuits against the musician, accusing him of sexual and physical abuse. Where did all this come from? What was it the Cat Williams interview? Let me know below what kind of started this. Producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones filed a similar suit in February against Combs, accused him of over a year-long period when he was living on the Stars properties and working. Abused him. Oh, sorry. Allegedly, Combs abused him for over a year-long period when he was living on the Stars properties and working on his music. In a statement issued last December, Combs defended himself against what he described as sickening allegations made by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged, he said, adding he would fight to clear his name. However, in March 2024, that's this month, federal agents raided 2 houses owned by the star as part of an ongoing investigation into sex trafficking Can I say that on YouTube? Sex trafficking? I don't know. I heard somebody else not say it earlier. So, his lawyer called the action an unprecedented ambush and a gross overuse of military level force and maintained his client's innocence. Of course he did. Let's see here. What do we got? So I believe the DHS invaded his home, which is weird. Why would it not be the FBI? Is there some kind of, as far as I know, the DHS deals more with immigration stuff. I didn't know they did. I mean, I know they do stuff domestically, but it's usually to do with immigration stuff, I thought. I didn't know HSI. That's HSI, I believe, is ICE or some form of the DHS that deals closely with Homeland Security. Yeah, that's weird. Why was the FBI not involved? There's no volume on this. HSI. Huh. Combs, who has also gone by names Puffy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Love, and Brother Love. Wow, that's a lot of weird names. Essentially rewrote the rules of hip hop in the 1990s, but his career has been punctuated by controversies. Here is a timeline of his career and the accusations made against him. Early life in New York. Sean John Combs was born in Harlem and raised in Mount Vernon, New York. His mother, Janice, was a teacher assistant, while his father, Melvin, was a former member of the U.S. Air Force who became an associate of the drug trafficker Frank Lucas. Oh, wow. Who later inspired the Ridley Scott film American Gangster. Wait, what? Okay, his mother, Janice, was a teacher's assistant, while his father, Melvin, was a former member of the U.S. Air Force who became an associate of the drug trafficker Frank Lucas. Well, there you go. There we go. Where did he get it from? Holy, I didn't know that. Did you know that? I had no idea. So his father, the movie American Gangster with Denzel Washington, I'll put a clip right here. Maybe I won't. Was an associate of that guy. That's crazy. Of the lineage of Bugsy. That's crazy. This is like some evil prodigal son type stuff. That's wild. In 1972, Melvin was fatally shot in a car during drug transaction after being misidentified as an informant. Oh, wow. Combs was just 2, although he didn't learn the circumstances of his father's death until much later. Raised by his mother, he was a flashy kid who loved rap music and played football for the school team. As a teenager, he danced in music videos and artists such as Diana Ross and the Fine Young Cannibals. That sounds like a weird name for a band. Taking a cue from his mother. Well, it sounds like he took a couple cues from his father. Jeez. Who worked multiple jobs to support Sean and his sister, Keisha. He also worked 6 separate newspaper delivery routes before enrolling to study business administration at Howard University. Wow. Yeah, there we go. Working on those 1099s. Early 1990s, party plans turned into tragedy. At university, Combs gained a reputation for throwing lavish parties. Well, no shit. Some of which attracted more than 1,000 guests. Oh, yeah, Project X. After booking musicians such as Heavy D and Terry Riley to play at these gigs, he came to the attention of Uptown Records founder and Andre Harrell, who gave him an internship in New York. Combs eventually dropped out of the university to work there full-time, guiding the early careers of artists including Mary J. Blige and Joe Pesci. I still can't get over the dad thing. That's crazy. I can't believe nobody's talking about that. However, tragedy struck it. I literally made this correlation of the day. It's just like, didn't I say this, babe? I said it was like American Gangster because of all the people that were bought and paid off in the movie American Gangster. I was making the same correlation, like that. If he doesn't go down, it's because of that. It's because he's got people bought and paid for. But eventually, with this kind of smoke, there's fire. And my hope is the DHS, the U.S. Marshals, whoever is in charge of keep him locked in a cage, alone, and safely guarded with cameras everywhere until he takes the stand. This man probably has more hits on his life than anyone else. I mean, this is like, there's more people trying to kill this guy probably at this point than somebody that turns on the mob. This is he's a mobster. That is what he is. He's a gangster. It says he took a few cues from his mom. He took a lot more cues from his father. This guy is a gangster. He's got women, kids. He's got Justin Bieber. He's got Usher coming to his house at 13, 14. First of all, where are the parents? I mean, this is unbelievable stuff. I can't believe that these type of things even happen. And the fact that these people are coming out now, it's like, how did you not see this? Like, I don't, I'm allegedly he has done these things to his assistant, to other people that worked for him. I say allegedly, one, because they haven't been proven yet, and two, because this could just be a something that they're putting out there to save their own skin. So what I mean by that is, if you're the victim of one of these people, you can plead coercion. You can say, well, I was coerced into doing this, and therefore I'm not under the penalty of law like the same as a willing participant. So I personally, I don't know, but I would think that if I was a victim, or I'm sorry, if I was somebody that did this and I finally was like, you know what, I'm going to turn. All this stuff's coming out. I need to get out of this. I'm going to turn because it's going to come back on me. Well, shoot, he was diddling me too. That's what I would think people would be saying. That's what, I mean, I would never be in this situation if a man touched me in an inappropriate way on my first day of the job. That would definitely be my last day of the job and potentially his last day, period. But, we're not all cut from the same cloth, but I'll continue. However, tragedy struck in 1991 when Combs promoted a celebrity basketball game in the concert. The City College in New York, nearly 5,000 people showed up to the gymnasium, which could only fit 2,700. In the ensuing crush, 9 people died and 29 people were injured. What? Okay, so however, tragedy struck when Combs co-promoted a celebrity basketball game. Okay, wow. 12 people died, or 9 people died. 29 were injured. That's crazy. How do 9 people die at a basketball game? An inquiry by the New York mayor's office cited Combs for hiring inexperienced security guards. Makes sense. However, the star and his lawyers maintain he was not responsible for the security at the event. Okay. City College is something I deal with every day of my life, the musician said in 1998. But the things that I deal with can in no way measure up to the pain that the families deal with. I just pray for the families and pray for the children who lost their lives every day. Well, that's good. He's a praying guy. No criminal charges were filed over the tragedy. So just that to me seems weird that no criminal charges were filed. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a law expert. Over the tragedy, but family members of the people who died sued the promoters, the college, and the city, accusing them of negligence. Yeah. The case was settled for $3.8 million, of which Combs paid $750,000. Okay, yeah. Mid to late 90s, a new beginning. Combs struck upon the idea of pairing with R&B singer Mary J. Blige. Okay, I don't know who that is. While at Uptown, Combs signed a young Brooklyn rapper called Christopher Wallace. Is that the guy from CNN? A.K.A. Biggie Smalls. Nope, definitely not the guy from CNN. Or the Notorious B.I.G., and started work on his debut album. But his relationship with Harold broke down and Combs was fired. He retaliated by setting up his own label, Bad Boy Records, and taking Biggie with him. This star's debut album, Ready to Die, was hailed as an all-time rap classic, selling millions of copies and generating the multi-platinum singles Juicy and Big Papa. Big Papa's a good song. Combs quickly expanded the Bad Boy roster, releasing hit albums by Faith Evans, Mace? Why is there a $sign in her name? 112 and Total. Is that a name? Is Total a name? I don't know. I don't know these people's names. It weirds me out when I drive through Vegas and I see the DJs' names. They got like numbers in their name and Cascade and Diplo. I don't know who named their kid Diplo, but that's a stupid name. The label set, no offense to Diplo if you're listening to this. Which you are. I know you're a subscriber, so thank you for that. No, I'm not going to respond to your DMs either for making fun of your name. The label's sound was slick and polished. Its biggest singles lifted chunky samples from well-known hits. The practice was frowned upon by hip-hop purists, but it was catnip to radio goers. Okay. Notorious B.I.G. is murdered. All right, let's read that. I'm going to skip through some of this stuff. In March 1997, Biggie Smalls was gunned down in a drive-by shooting at the age of 24. That's crazy. 24, very young. Thought he was older. The murder has never been solved, but has consistently been linked to the East Coast West Coast rivalry that consumed rap music in the 1990s and which had previously claimed the life of Tupac Shakur. Now, a lot of people think that Diddy has something to do with that. I just found out today about the was it the ex-girlfriend, mother of like 3 of his kids. That story's weird. Obviously the 50 Cent thing, his ex-girlfriend being part of this ring, which I don't understand. I don't understand why people get into sex work. It makes no sense to me. But Combs, who had been traveling in the car behind his friend, poured his grief into a song, I'll Be Missing You, which became one of the biggest songs of 1997. You know, if he had anything to do with that, that would be like, was it in The Godfather when he goes to somebody's funeral and gives his condolences? I know in Better Call Saul they go to Howard Hamlin's funeral. That was interesting for sure. The song based around the Police's Every Breath You Take also featured on Combs' debut album No Way Out, which sold over 7 million copies worldwide. New York shooting. By this stage, a boy had become the most important labels in rap, aside from his own. So he's, I mean, basically, you guys can read this. Okay, this is the big one. Cassie Ventura. 2005 2018 with relationship with Cassie Ventura. By the way, if you're in a relationship for 13 years, how are you not married? It doesn't make any sense. Get married. In 2005, 20-year-old singer Cassandra Elizabeth Ventura scored a minor club hit in Germany with her debut single "Me and You." After hearing it one night out, on a night out, Combs convinces Cassie, as she is known professionally, to join Bad Boy Records for a 10-album deal. Her self-titled debut was released in 2008 and its futuristic space age R&B proved to be a hit with critics. By that stage, Combs and Ventura were in a relationship, but in civil lawsuit filed in December 23, she said the mogul had used his position of power to set the groundwork for a manipulative and coercive romantic and sexual relationship. Wow. Her lawsuit included multiple graphic descriptions of violent abuse, alleging that Combs regularly beat and kicked Mrs. Ventura, leaving black eyes, bruises, and blood. Ventura also alleged sexual abuse and rape and claimed that many of these incidents were witnessed by Combs' tremendously loyal network who were not willing to do anything meaningful to stop the violence. Combs strenuously denied the allegations and accused Ventura of trying to extort him. They settled the case a day after it was filed in New York, with Combs' lawyer saying the settlement was in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Oh, of course it's not. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Business ventures, 2007 to 2024, arrested for fighting football coach. In 2015, Combs got into a scuffle with his son's football coach, prompted by an argument during training. As the row escalated, Combs allegedly threatened an intern with a kettlebell. He was later arrested and charged with assault with a deadly weapon. The charges were subsequently dropped. Oh, wow. That's weird how charges just drop when you have billions of dollars. A representative from Combs said press accounts of the incident were wholly inaccurate. Wow. Yeah, golly, man, it's everybody else's fault but mine. That's just crazy. You can be in trouble with the law 100 times, but it's everybody else's fault. It's not my fault. Wholly inaccurate. I just don't know how you can represent a guy like this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, hey, he could be innocent, and we could all be wrong. But, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. The first allegations of abuse surfaced as Combs came from his model ex-girlfriend Gina Hoon. Although largely unreported at the time, Hoon gave an interview to the YouTube personality Tasha K, where she said Combs had been physically abusive and offered her money to get an abortion during their on-off 5-year relationship. On one occasion, she alleged that Combs had once stomped on my stomach really hard, like took the wind out of my breath. He did not respond to the accusations. Musical comeback. I'm not going to read that. 3 lawsuits in the space of 1 week. December 2023, underage sex claims. A 4th woman sued in December, claiming she was sex trafficked and gang raped. Wow, geez. By Combs' former Bad Boy Records president Harvey Peer and another man in 2023 when she was 17 years old. In court papers, the woman alleged she was given copious amounts of drugs. That was one of the things that the security guy was saying, was that there was the drinks that weren't laced and the drinks that were. And so everything's kind of like all these, unless they've corroborated, all these stories seem to be coming together. The one guy was saying, we had these drinks that the guys would give the girls, and they would go in and they would do all this stuff, and then that's when, once the girls had the drinks, that's when they knew they could do whatever. And I'm not going to get into detail, but you can watch that video for yourself. But some of the things previously mentioned happened. In court papers, the woman alleged she was given copious amounts of drugs and alcohol before the attack, and she was left in so much pain that she could barely stand or remember how she got home. In response, Combs said he did not do any of the awful things being alleged, while Pierre said the disgusting allegations were false and desperate attempt for financial gain. The judge in the case later ruled that the woman who filed her case anonymously would have to use her real name if she wanted to proceed. Okay. And there's a lot of reasons people might not want to use their real name. One of them being that it's not true. Another one being that maybe they feel threatened for their life. If she's 17 years old, so she's probably 18 or 19. Maybe she's moved on with her life, but just wants to have her voice heard. There's a lot of reasons somebody wouldn't want to use their real name. Maybe family ties. I don't know. But and again, like I said, one of them being that their story is not true. There's a lot of people that come out and say this, but you know how you avoid this type of stuff? There was I actually listened to Ruslan's video, and he was talking about this, but Pastor Billy Graham, who has since gone to be with Jesus, but he had a what was called the Modesto Manifesto, and my wife and I have since adopted this. I first heard it from a mentor of mine back in college. But basically what it is you're never alone with another woman. You're never alone with another woman. If you're a woman, you're never alone with another man. And our pastor gave us an example. Like if he has to go meet with a woman at a coffee shop, he brings somebody else. And this was just their way of, we are never going to be in a compromising situation. I think at that time, it was more about protecting themselves as far as, from their own temptations. But nowadays, it seems that it could be protecting yourself from allegations and not just temptation. You could, be alone with somebody on their couch and have a conversation with them, and, they initiate something, you initiate something, it doesn't go the way you want it to, and somebody leaves and nothing else comes of it. But, things can come from that. They could accuse you of whatever they want. It is your word against theirs. But if you're never in that situation and they can't prove that you were ever alone with them, you really save yourself the trouble. And people can vouch for you. Hey, there has never been a time where he has been alone with this woman. If you're out working, he was at work. If you're out doing something with somebody else, you have an alibi. Like there's too much. So the fact that he, like I said earlier, where there's smoke, there's fire. The fact that he doesn't live this way, even if he's innocent of all these things, it lends to the fact that, you're a rich person. You're not vetting the people you're around. You're not, you're not seriously dating them. You're not married to them. They're going to say what they want to say if they want to get money out of you. If you don't know them, and that's a risk. That's a huge risk, especially if, it looks like he's around a lot of sex workers, a lot of people in prostitution, a lot of people in the music industry, a lot of people that want to find their way up, the Kim Kardashian method of who can I bring down to go up? Like that's what they're looking for. And, if there's no standards and if there's no boundaries put in place, these types of things are going to happen, whether they're true or not. There's no accountability. And, I would hope that these things aren't true, but if they are true, I hope that everybody he has video of, aside from the minors and the victims, goes down with him. I hope he brings down everyone. I hope he gets to that stand and says, that person was there, that person was there, that person was there, that person was there. And I honestly, I don't know the seriousness of the allegations. I don't know the seriousness of the evidence. I would hope and think that if there is evidence in his home of people, him extorting and blackmailing people, politicians, people in the music industry. I mean, this has the potential to destroy the music industry. If I would hope that if it does, and if there's politicians, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Biden or Donald Trump. If they have evidence and proof that they have done something with, it's one thing for a consenting adult, but with a minor, send them to the gallows. I don't care who they are. Send them to the gallows. And I hope that they can keep him alive until he gets that stand and he can put every single one of them, behind bars. And, I'm personally in favor of the death penalty for certain things. If you do something to a kid, I'm in favor of the death penalty, 100%. I don't think taxpayers should be paying for you to stay alive and getting 3 meals a day, and especially a guy like this that probably has the ability to get a comfy cell somewhere. If you're on this, if there is proof that that you did this, I mean, I don't want to say anymore. I'm a fan of the death penalty for things like this. If you're touching children, if you're harming children, if you're trafficking people, yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. And I don't think God is either. On December 6th, Diddy's denial. On December 6th, Combs responded to the flurry of lawsuits with the statement on his Instagram page, "Enough is enough," he wrote. "For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth." Well, I hope that's true. February 24th, 2024, accusations of grooming. Music producer Rodney Jones Jr., who produced 9 tracks of the Love album and sued Combs in February 2024, accusing the star of making unwanted sexual contact and forcing him to hire prostitutes and participate in sex acts with them. He forced him to do that? That just seems a little weird. In court papers filed in New York, Jones also claimed that Combs tried to groom him into having sex with another man, telling him it was a normal practice in the music industry. Well, now I don't deny that. I bet that's true. Combs' lawyer Sean Hawley called the producer nothing more than a liar. Yeah, all these people just liars, putting their name out there. Described his claims as pure fiction that can be discredited by overwhelming, indisputable proof. Well, we'll see. We will see. I definitely think things have happened in the past, but, he fled the country. They have this Syracuse basketball player as his drug mule, allegedly. Combs' properties raided. So 1 month, I'm curious what they found. They just had, so his former backup dancer alleges horrific experience. Let's watch this.
Mine is horrific. Like, why didn't you say something then? Because we just want to live. We want to be happy. And we really want to forget the trauma.
Diddy's former backup dancer Tanika Ray speaking out. In the wake of federal home raids, sex trafficking allegations, and speculation the embattled music mogul could face criminal charges.
Since then, I've been like, yep, I have a lot of stories, y'all. Maybe I'll write a book one day.
Law enforcement had enough to get the search warrant. They maybe even have enough to get an indictment, and if so, I expect Diddy to be arrested in a matter of days and no more than weeks.
So, there's that.
I have never talked about this publicly.
Tanika reacting to this interview from Joy Reid's MSNBC series on Instagram. Culture critic Torre claiming Diddy fired a family member after allegedly refusing his sexual advances.
Years later, they finally came out, and this a male, and said that Puff had said, "Come home, stay the night with me, or the internship is over."
Oh, yeah. We all have stories. Seriously, we all have stories. Mine is horrific, and only 5 people know it. And I probably will never tell it.
Tanika, who's also worked in entertainment journalism, referencing an alleged experience with Diddy from 1996 in her caption, adding, "Nothing that is happening is surprising."
And mind you, I then interviewed him many times. And I also am very intimately aware that you tell your truth and you become victimized over and over and over and over and over and over. But it just is so traumatizing that women just want to live every day and feel safe.
Can't nobody hold me down.
This comes amid Diddy's looming legal saga. His attorney calling the Homeland Security search warrants, quote, a witch hunt with excessive show of force and hostility that led to a premature rush to judgment.
The government likely has a very strong case against Diddy. They don't execute.
So that's one thing too about these
talk to
cases, especially
witnesses.
federal cases, is they will build a case. I mean, there have been, I remember, I was reading a book. It was called Scars and Stripes by Tim Kennedy, and he was part of something like this. They found this pimp, and there was this pimp ring in Houston, and they got all this evidence, and he had to watch from 200 yards away, 300 yards away with binoculars. He had to watch. So what they did was they were just trying to compile evidence. And so what they did was they called this prostitute who was a 14-year-old girl, and they said, hey, we're going to meet here or whatever. And they needed to get evidence that she was working, and they needed to get evidence that she was getting picked up from the pimp. And he had to watch as this guy beat the crap out of her. He documents it in his book because nobody ever showed up to do the acts with her. And so the pimp comes and smacks her, punches her, throws her in the car, and he knows this, and he's like, well, at least I can, the way I can sleep at night is we're going to get enough evidence to put this guy away forever. And as he's doing it, so this is kind of, how these things work is they compile evidence. So they have a case. They've probably had a long case on him for a long time. They've probably gotten a lot of witness testimonies. They've probably had a lot of people come in, and they've probably said, hey, don't say anything in the public because this is going to create suspicion, and they almost allow more and more things to happen so they can compile more evidence. Kind of like when a murderer does something and they have a suspect, they don't have enough to convict or to convince a jury of 12 people. So what they have to do is they have to wait. They have to. There's nothing you can do because you have to convince those 12 people, and the prosecution is not going to put their name behind something that is light, that is shaky. And so, he has to watch this. And then at the very end in the book, they're about to arrest these guys for whatever reason. The Houston police chief says, we've got calls from our higher ups. We're pulling this case. And to me, it's like there's something more nefarious going on. It's, and I hope that whatever is going on with this, that whatever is more nefarious, that they figure it out. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of demonic stuff that goes on, and they're not going to figure that out. But whoever it's leading to, whoever is heading this, I hope they figure it out, and I hope it brings them down, and I hope it kind of shines a light and is more than just an Epstein list that we're going to see and is going to come and go. Because whoever's on that list needs to be brought before judges. It needs to be brought before a jury. And needs to be brought to charges. But the fact that they raided his house, 2 of his properties, leads me to believe that there's a substantial case that's probably been going on for a couple years.
I believe they have an ironclad case. Not only that, they have to get a federal judge to sign off on the search warrant. Ultimately, I think Diddy is going to be indicted.
And you can't just get a federal judge to sign off on anything either. You have to present the judge with sufficient amount of evidence like, hey, listen, this guy's doing this. We need this. He's got this in his home. I saw the video of Diddy kind of pacing back and forth. It doesn't look like he knew that they were going to get him. So whoever was in charge of this case seemed to have done a good job keeping
Indicted by a grand jury. If Diddy waives his right to a speedy trial, he could potentially push the case out a year or more. And Diddy has essentially unlimited funds to defend this case, and I expect him to litigate it very aggressively.
Back in Tanika's message, she explains why now was the time to share her story, hinting someday she might put pen to paper.
And when we revisit, we live in a state of victimhood, and nobody wants to live there. So for those who are like, why didn't you say something then? Because we just want to live. We want to be happy. True. And we really want to forget the trauma. So...
I will say one thing too, because I kind of get it. Like, why wouldn't you just say something there? But as a victim, there's there's a fear element to it. If any of you saw, and this is another crazy thing too, is the movie The Sound of Freedom coming out last year. I wonder if that sparked anything, and if that's, potentially has anything to do with, why these things are coming out or why people are coming out, or if it's just brought more awareness to this issue. But one thing that you see as a victim, in that movie, there was a kid, the original kid that, was getting trafficked. And the guy that kidnapped him basically said, like, hey, if you don't do what I tell you, and if you don't keep your mouth shut when we cross the border, I'm going to kill your sister. The guy never knew his sister. The guy didn't have any access to her. But that fear kept him from doing anything. And I think there's that same element of fear here with these victims. So, if they do have a case, hopefully it gets found out in court, and hopefully everything, gets brought to the forefold, to the light. And hopefully that people repent and spend the rest of their life in jail if they have touched or hurt minors. But don't spend all of eternity in hell. That's my main goal and my main prayer. But I'll be praying for this whole situation, that light is shown on every aspect of this darkness, and that the criminal justice system does not fail. So if you guys like this video, make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment below what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers as of now. Help us do it. Share this video. And guys, God bless you. Have an amazing night or day or morning, evening, whatever it is.